back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Jennifer. Today I am going to talk about the new tag, or the continuing tag that's going around that's really popular, the mid-year freakout tag. I'm going to answer a series of 13 different questions related to how everything is going with my reading so far this year and what I'm going to continue to read. So this is the first kind of tagged video that I'm going to be doing, so I'm excited to try this out. Hopefully you enjoy my answers and hopefully gets you some new reading options or some new choices to think about in some reading. So starting off with the first question, what was your favorite book that you've read so far this year? And I had a couple different options, but I settled on Ellen Marie Wiseman, The Lies They Told. This made me laugh, it made me cry, and it was such a well-told story. I love Ellen Marie Wiseman's writing style and everything related to her. It is a historical fiction, and it has a lot of things that are related to the eugenics movement in the United States, the Appalachian Mountains, and kind of kicking people off of their own land and things like that to make a national park, and how that affects so many lives during this time. And so I really did truly enjoy this one. I gave it 5 stars. I'd highly recommend if you have not checked this one out yet. Moving on to question number 2, what is the best sequel that you have read in 2026? This was very easy. This is the 7th book in the Dungeon Crawl Carl series, This Inevitable Ruin, and so it's by Matt Dinniman. This is the best book of the series I've read so far. I can't believe the books just keep getting better and better. It is a pretty chunky read, but really did truly enjoy this one. Again, it was my favorite so far out of the series, and so I'd highly recommend this series if you enjoy a good time, crude humor, battle scenes, monsters, humans trying to survive, and all the different obstacles that they get up to at different levels and different competitions. And so I would recommend this series highly. It is not something that I thought I would like, but I truly do enjoy this humor for sure. And so then moving on to let's look at the next question. Question number 3, what is a new release you haven't read yet but want to? Very easy transition. This is the 8th book in the Dungeon Carl series, Nope, not a paradise at all. A Parade of Horribles. It is the 8th book, and it recently came out in May, and I haven't read it yet, and so I truly want to get to this one very, very soon and continue on in this series and see what Carl and Donna get up to. And it looks like there's some kind of armored truck. And so yeah, it just sounds like it's going to be a great fun time, and so I am committed to that, getting to that one next if possible. And so then moving on to question number 5, what has been the biggest disappointment? So I'm a person that recently found out that I like books where people are institutionalized, or Homes for Wayward Girls and things along those lines. And so I picked up The Home for Wayward Girls, and this one is by Marcia Bradley, and I thought I would really like it. It was a short read, should be a quick read, and I kept putting it down, and I'm just like, okay, what is the story behind it? What actually happened when this girl fled at the age of 18? What big scene, what big turmoil happened with her parents that forced her to leave and be on her own for the rest of her life and not want to go see her parents again, and that her parents should be in prison for taking care of these werewolf girls, and they shouldn't been, and how they mistreated them. But what really truly happened to make her leave her parents? And so that was a big mystery throughout the whole book. Yeah, once I finally figured out and learned what happened, it was just okay, which is so disappointing. They hyped it up that it was gonna be some big thing, and it just really wasn't. So would not recommend this one, unfortunately. So moving on to also number 6, which was the biggest surprise, which is also kind of a sad thing. So I recently read The Plum Tree as a 5-star prediction, which is by Ellen Marie Wiseman. Up until this point, I've read Ellen Marie Wiseman and gave them all 5 stars. And so reading The Plum Tree, it's set during World War II in Germany, with this family and this young girl that falls in love with a Jewish boy. And so I thought it'd be right up my alley. Well, unfortunately, it kept talking about bombings and the war, and there was no mystery, there's no dual timeline. It just seemed to be missing that mystery element or something more compelling to keep me reading. So unfortunately, I DNF'd it. I DNF'd Ellen Marie Wiseman, which is such a surprise. Did not see that one coming, especially with it being a 5-star prediction, which is so sad. So anyway, that was disappointing for sure and a definite surprise. But yeah, so I'm still going to continue reading Ellen Marie Wiseman. I'm going to pick up her other books that I haven't read yet. But I just thought that was definitely a surprise for me recently. And so yeah, too bad, but it's all right. We can't love all of them for sure. So moving on to question number 7. What is my favorite new author debut or new to me? And so I think what I'm gonna do is talk about, let's do Hazel Beck, which is kind of these witchy books. This is the second book, Big Little Lies, Big Little Spells. And so this is a witchy series, and I like her writing style. It's cozy, it's fun. It's a new to me author, and yeah, I really am enjoying this series, which then leads me into the next question related to newest fictional crush. And so in this series, there is a guy named Nicholas Frost. He is currently unable to die. He's invincible. And so he just kind of has been living for many centuries, many times. And what he sacrificed to actually be able to continue to live and be, And so he ends up saving some of the family members, and things happen to him in so differently. His climax comes up in this book and what happens with his story. And so I really liked how his romance with the sister, the main character in this book, Rebecca Wilde, and how he had this romance with her and just like his bad boy vibe and things like that. And so I think he would be intriguing to me to figure out, wonder where he's come from. I'd love to know his history and everything that he's been through. He would be an enigma to me. So I'd be interested to get to know him further. That's kind of the only crush that I could think of. I don't usually get crushes or intrigued in dating any of the characters. And so yeah, I just think that's kind of funny. That's the only one I can think of. But then moving on to newest favorite character, that kind of leads me on to a sneak peek of a book that I've already finished, The Other Side of Now by Paige Harbison. And so, I really liked this one a lot. And Meg, the main character in this book, is my new favorite character. Her character growth and development and just everything that she went through in deciding on which life she wants to pursue, and everything that relationships she formed, and just her style, personality. I think she would be a great person to get to know. And so I'd like to meet her if she was real. So that would be something that I'd be interested in. And then moving on to question number 10. A book that made you cry. And so there was a couple of different ones. A lot of books that made me cry so far this year, which is kind of interesting to think about. But I'm going to go ahead and go with The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This is about two old timelines and about how the main character, she ends up Clementine going 7 years in the past in her own same apartment that she inherited. And so, so what happens to her and the relationship that she develops with the guy that's currently living in her apartment 7 years in the past. And so this book actually made me cry twice at 2 different parts in the book. And so I'd highly recommend this one if you have not read it yet. It's a cute romance. It has a good additional storyline than just a straight romance. So I'd highly recommend this one if you have not picked it up yet. And then moving on to the next question, what book made you happy? And so I'm also gonna say The 7-Year Slip as well as a really good example. It made me laugh, it made me cry. It just was an all-around good story, romance, rom-com. I had both elements in it for sure. And so then moving on to question number 12, just 2 questions left. What was the most beautiful book you bought so far this year or received? This one is absolutely gorgeous. The Faraway Inn by Sarah Beth Durst. It is so pretty. And then look at these branches. It is so pretty. I am in I love all the multicolors, but then also the garden and flowers and vegetation, just so pretty. And so yeah, I would love this book. It is a paperback and very floppy, and it just like even the border around each of the chapters is just so pretty and cozy and cute and fun. So I'd highly like that one is for a cover buy for sure. It's also a very good story as well. It is about a girl in high school that goes to stay with her aunt for the summer. And the great aunt and her inn that she takes care of and that she has magical powers for. And she's able to open doors to different portals, different realms, all over the galaxy. And then people come in and get relaxation inside of the inn. And so, but the inn is dying. She's closing it up. And what does that mean for her aunt and for her? And what she develops along the way. So it is a very cute, cozy, warm story. I'd recommend it. It is YA, but I read adult, and so I didn't really catch that it was YA. I did still enjoy it. And moving on to the last question, which I think is actually the most interesting to me, and I took some real good thought into thinking about answering this question. It is, what book do you need to read by the end of the year? And so it really kind of caught me off guard that out of all of my TBR shelves and like books behind me, you can see that I still need to read, I picked The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I have not read a Kristen Hanna book at all. I've heard her books are very emotional and get you invested in the characters. They're also longer novels, and so they're an investment. But I've heard really good things that you just truly get wrapped up in the story and want to know the characters, what happens to them. It doesn't hurt that there's also going to be a movie coming out next year called The Nightingale based off of this book. And so I'm interested in reading it before seeing the movie. And so yeah, I'm excited to give Kristen Hanna a try as a new author and also give the story a good read. So hopefully you enjoyed this Speak Out tag. If you haven't done it yet, or if you're interested in doing it, I tag you below. And hopefully you enjoyed listening to some of my answers and sharing out some of that information. For kind of commenting down below, what is the next book that you need to read by the end of the year? What is on your TBR that you must get to before the end of the year? I'd love to hear down below and have that conversation. I thought that was a very cool question to ask. And so hopefully you enjoyed this video. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.